But what we do is like we go around and we talk to startups and students, we talk to companies at various stages to make sure that they really have a good experience building applications in the cloud. Right?
Yeah, and so one of my favorite things about the job is that, about our job is that we get to kind of explore and experiment with different technologies and kind of get our wheels turning. And one of the ways we do that is through this project called the Sandbox. Let's see if I can get it open here. So the Sandbox is, so if you go to this site here, docs.microsoft.com/sandbox, it'll take you here, and this is pretty much where you can see where all, kind of get into the cloud developer advocate's head. So we have, it's all open source. You can kind of see it in development. And there's a bunch of demos and just tutorials and things like that. So I'm just gonna go to the Octobot one here. And what the Octobot project pretty much does is it allows you to kind of manage your GitHub repositories through chat. So I'm just gonna put hello here. I'm not gonna get too into it, but it's gonna respond and it's gonna give you a bunch of different commands that you can send, and based on the command you send, it'll do something and interact with your repository. And so these three demos on the left here, Octobot, Not Bacon, and Not Hot Dog, are all under a product called Cognitive Services, where you can kind of do kind of AI stuff. You can do like text recognition, like translations, even like filtering out maybe offensive words. Also image recognition. So for the example, the Not Bacon, Not Hot Dog examples are pretty much you upload a project to the demo, and it pretty much tells you whether or not that picture is a bacon or hot dog or not. And then we have some other experiments in game development and all kinds of fun stuff. We have a lot of fun with it, and it's really fun to be in an environment where we kind of explore these things and kind of be ourselves.
Throughout the past couple of years, it's really driven the way that we work together, the way that we communicate, the way that we actually get stuff done, the way that we're actually productive. If you don't mind me telling you a story, like when I was much younger, I remember I used to go to the library, so I used to leave my house, I used to walk to the library, and then I'd go and I'd pick up a book, and you know what, I'd have to go sit in a corner and be quiet, and I had to sit and read by myself. Now, when you think about today, like we don't really learn like that today. Like that's not how we want to consume information. We want to be more interactive. We want to talk to people. We want to bounce ideas off of each other. Like sitting in the corner and being by yourself is not helpful to you at all. Because how do you know whether your ideas or some of the things that you're thinking about actually make sense or whether they're actually correct, right? I'll tell you another story. So when I teach my students, I like to experiment with them a little bit. Don't tell them that I said that. I like to experiment with them a little bit. And so one of the things that I do is I'd give them like different courseware for them to go through. So sometimes I give them like reading exercises or give them videos to watch and some of those types of things. And what I would tell you is that, so I have students that are as young as 16 and as old as like 54. My 16-year-olds don't read anything. So I can give them articles to read and all this type of stuff, they never read it. But they'll definitely watch the videos. My older students, like they don't watch the videos, like they want to read material. Right? Again, just showing you like how different it is the way that we learn and the way that we consume information. So when we think about open source, it's really us having an open, collaborative environment for us to share material, for us to build products together, and also do it in an open way so that we're all learning and we're all growing together. Right? Let's go to the next one. So it's like to say that we're living in a world of science fiction, right? So we have phones that we can talk to, and we have augmented reality and virtual reality and machine learning and all these crazy type of things, right? Like it sounds like we're in Star Wars or something like that. But like a lot of these technologies are really based and been built up based on like open source software. So I'm pretty sure most of us in the room right now have like a smartphone of some sort, whether it's an Android device or iOS device, a tablet or something like that. Well, all of that software that's running on those devices are actually built and based on open source software, right? Whether it's Linux or whether it's how we send email or how we browse the internet, like that's all open source stuff that you're using and it's inside of your pocket right now.
So why is this such a hot topic? Why do we care? Why is open source such an integral part of business and and the way that we think and work today? Well, when you have interoperability between products, You have, you open up the road for collaboration. That's collaborations not with only just open source communities, but with competitors. Because you want to give everybody access. You want developers to be able to write with the tools that they like and write with the technologies that they enjoy. And also, on top of that, we know as folks in the underrepresented community that access is always a big block in the road for us. And thankfully, with the power of the internet, it's kind of leveled the playing field a little bit. And when we and so we're at the point where we're having resources that are pretty much digitally tangible, and so everyone is we're getting new ideas, we're getting new insights, and we're getting new ways to think about how the world works, and we're expressing that through technology, and that also opens up to new standards. The standards in the company, the standards in just regular open source communities. So before. This was Microsoft before, where we control it all. We sound a little bit monopolistic and kind of enterprisey. It was kind of pay to work. But now you can use pretty much any Microsoft product on whatever platform you want, whatever tooling you want. You pretty much develop the way that you like. So,
traditionally, we used to have big machines inside of your warehouse or inside of your company, and now you have to worry about maintenance. I have to worry about, oh, this machine is dead, or I have to run Windows updates. I need to restart this, and that's not really what you're here to do, right? If you're an insurance company, you want to talk about insurance and you want to focus on solving that problem. If you're into medical or if you're cutting hair, right? That's what you want to focus on. I want to focus on my business and not the technical infrastructure that's really the enabler of the business. And so what we do is that we try to make sure that we work with a lot of various folks in the community to make sure that whatever you're running on, it should be able to work on outside of our tools. So whether you're building Java apps and you're making apps on the Android device, or you're using Python or PHP or any of these other platforms, you should be able to just right-click, publish, create an app, run it, and it should just work. And it shouldn't really matter what set of tools that you're using.